Up next, we'll have our buddy Will McAndrew of Amazing Energy. Got there, Will?
Yes, Ed. How you doing?
I'm sorry, Will. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time there. Will, you and I go back pretty far. We've known each other for a number of years, and a couple of things stand out from you. Obviously, you're a lifetime oil and gas guy, and I don't want to necessarily tell your biopic here, but that's something that I think plays an amazing role in the amazing story that is Amazing Energy. Talk to us about how that came about, Will.
Well, I spent 5.5 years at Exxon. My family for 4 generations at Exxon. This is all I've done my entire life. I've known Amazing Energy since 2010, and its chairman and major shareholder at that time. And I know you're going to hear me say amazing, but it is truly amazing or incredible what this individual has done, pulling against this contiguous 70,000 acre block and the rights to that 70,000 acre block, and being able to go in here at really cost of buying acreage from 2008. And it's locked in forever. As long as we do a couple small things per year, we have the rights to come into this property and drill anywhere we want.
Well, drilling anywhere you want obviously means a lot. It's when you have 70,000 acres to pick from. Something to keep in mind, or I don't want to necessarily tell your story here, but talk to me about when you decide to drill and you look at a 70,000 acre property, how do you decide where to drill first?
Well, great news is the Permian Basin has been around for millions of years, and just about every major oil and gas company is out in the Permian. And just surrounded around us alone, you have companies like Kinder Morgan, Pioneer Natural Resources, ConocoPhillips, Diamondback, Apache, Oxy. So we're not having to go out and reinvent the wheel. These companies have already gone out here and drilled vertically, drilled horizontally, have been able to produce just literally billions of barrels of oil around us over here from 5,000 feet or shallower. In fact, right on the eastern lease side of our lease, of the 70,000 acres, is the Yates Field. The Yates Field has produced about 1.6 billion barrels of oil from the Queen Formation to surface. These are just straight vertical, low-cost, low-risk wells that have been producing since the 1920s. And so when we look at our property, what have others done in the area? How did they do it? And not trying to reinvent the wheel, Ed, we just go back in and duplicate that success.
Well, a lot of us know the best place to find oil is where it's already been found. I think that may be the case here as far as the Permian is concerned. We're getting up to a break here, about a minute or so to go. And on this particular part here, when you think about Amazing and the Amazing story, how do you compete with those giant companies surrounding you? How do you compete with them? How do you hold them off?
Well, the great news is that the company Amazing went out and got the rights to this leases back in 2008. So that's what holds everybody off. We have the right to come in here and pay somewhere between $200 to $300 an acre, as long as we meet our 2 conditions, which are easily obtainable. Where others have paid 10, 15,000, 20, even higher thousand, up to 50, 60,000 other parts of the Permian. So just like Warren Buffett said, you don't make money when you sell. You make money when you buy, and you get into these deals with the correct acquisition cost, and then we have just straight vertical, low-cost drilling with great economics, under $10 per barrel lifting costs. And because of those things, big major companies can't get into our deal unless we let them in.
Perfect. Well, that's a barrier to entry. Well, we'll go to break, and on the other side of the break, we'll talk a little bit more about Amazing and what you guys are doing to bring those hydrocarbons up. And we'll delve deeper into actually the company itself and what you see going forward.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you. Let's Ed Baxter here at CEO Money. This section brought to you by Tycon Partners. Welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Ed Baxter, sitting in for Michael Yorber. We're talking with Will McAndrew of the Amazing Energy and Oil Company. Well, we left it off a few minutes ago. We talked about some of the things you're doing, how do you fight off the big guys, how you stay there. Going forward, what's the vision for Amazing? How do you get there? And as a public company, what should investors think of the company going forward?
Well, let me just tell you, we're an OTCQX company. Our symbol is AMAZ, Amazing. We are a fully reporting company, never missed a filing, never been a shell. We're one step down from NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, and that's what our goal is to be New York Stock Exchange or listed company within the year. We have the rights to the 70,000 acres. We have low cost of entry. We have vertical wells. They've got horizontal wells drilling down deeper below us. We have stacked pay. We're on the Central Basin platform. We're looking at production out here on these wells that can come in from 25 to plus 100 barrels a day. When you're actually drilling and completion costs, that's easily a 6, 7, 8 month turnaround on your CapEx investment, even in the $45 range. So when you look at our lifting costs, we can be profitable as a company out here. We have our own drilling company, our operating entity, drilling rig, workover rigs, all of our production equipment, or we have field personnel. So we're really self-contained. And that's really important because when we go out to get wells drilled, we don't have to go out to a third party and they put on their profit and their percentage on top of that. We have that in-house in our personnel. So we're very efficient and effective with what we do. When you look at the company as a whole, I think we're very undervalued, so undervalued in the marketplace. The company has never really gone out and told their story up until about the last 2.5, 3 months that I've joined the company. We've been putting out some press releases, bringing on some directors. We've bringing on some investment individuals. We've brought on personnel that allows us to be able to operate. We've got joint venture partners. There's just a tremendous number of things that are going on today that just truly shows that we're so undervalued in the marketplace.
Well, you mentioned something very important as far as oil plays are concerned that I think we want to drill down a little bit more on. You mentioned multiple plays. Can you kind of explain that to the audience?
Yes, sir. One of the things that, again, if you look at, one of the things we've done is we haven't overpaid, like 117, 18 companies that went bankrupt and the price of oil went from 100 down into the 20s. We haven't overpaid for it, and we are taking the time to do the science. Cores and logs, drill sim test, taking the time to understand what we had. And the companies that did that, when the price fell like it did in July 15, those companies not only survived but are thriving. And that's exactly the same strategy. Again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We're going out here and duplicating what other people have been able to do to be successful out in the field. And so with this big project out here, we've got literally tens of thousands of wells that we can potentially drill. So it's a step at a time, understanding what we have, drill, complete, produce. Drill, complete, produce.
Going back to what you said a second ago when expanding a little bit on that multiple pay zone thing, how does that enhance the amount of oil you can take out of one particular hole going forward? Because we know that there's your large pay zone, there's other pay zones there. When you have as many as you have, how do you maximize your effort in taking oil out of those particular reservoirs?
Well, and you're right. That's the question now. Sorry about that, Ed. I got off on the other part. But, when you have stacked pay like we have out here and where we are as a company, understanding what we have, let's say we drill down to 2,000 feet, which is the Queen A, B, and C formations, 3 different targets inside one zone or one known entity that has produced billions of barrels of oil around us. So our primary objective is the Queen A. Well, you also want secondary objectives because maybe in this one particular spot we're drilling, that Queen A isn't as big and as robust as we'd like for it to be, but maybe the B is, or the C. But at the same time, when you drill through from the surface, you're going to drill through the first known producing interval in the area. It's called the Yates. The second one is the 7 Rivers, and then the third one is the Queen A, B, and C. So even though you have a specific target in mind, you're drilling with backup targets so that the wells that you have a tremendous greater opportunity of success. But if you look at some of the operators around us, the names I mentioned earlier, they're going on down to the Grayburg and the St. Andrews, which like companies like Ring Energies and others, while way north, are drilling to the St. Andrews, and it is the story out there today. But it's also the Wolfcamp, shale formations, it's the Devonian, it's the Ellenberger. We have 10, 12 different zones that have known to be productive and prolific in and around the property that we have the rights to.
Well, we have about a minute left going forward here, and you mentioned a couple of really important things there as far as the formation is concerned. Here's the big question. If you prove out this particular formation, 70,000 acres, and you prove that the reservoir and the oil production is there, what does that mean for Amazing?
Well, again, we're so undervalued today. But as we go out and we continue to drill, produce, tell our story, production goes up, daily production, month over month, quarter over quarter. Not only do we hit our numbers, but we far exceed our numbers. And then we continue to drill a bit deeper. We bring in more joint venture partners to where we don't have to put up the capital and we get carried and in that. But we always are trying to learn. The more we learn, the more that we can go out and talk to somebody when the time is right, go back out and say, look at this unbelievable chunk of acreage that we have, and bring in the right party to come in here to either buy the company out or we'll already be uplisted at that point in time. And obviously our price will reflect the effort that we have and the asset that we have.
Right, right. Well, we spent a lot of time talking about the amazing story, the amazing company with the amazing CEO. Tell us how people can get a hold of you if they need to get amazing results from their portfolio by investing in Amazing.
Well, thank you very much. Obviously, again, we're an OTCQX, highest level you can be without being on a listed exchange. Our stock symbol or ticker symbol is AMAZ. Our website is www.amazingenergy.com. And then any of our access, our phone numbers, my email address is will@amazingenergy.com.
Perfect. Will, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate the time you've given me and giving us that amazing story.